Hey everyone, good evening. How are you? It is good to see you and it is good to be seen by you. I am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, the one and only Dungeon Delver, I should point out. And that brings me to an interesting point before we get Kyle on and we start playing Conflict and everything else like that. Usually I have no reason to do things like this, but I feel like this is necessary. This is kind of a PSA. Pardon me. I'm trying to make sure I'm not parked on top of any cables down there that are important. But I want to mention this. I do want to bring this up. So there's a guy who's got like a small media empire on YouTube, and this isn't really about him. Okay, so don't bombard the guy, don't go harangue the guy or whatever. His name is Tim Pool. Tim Pool is his name. Now, I'm not going to listen to or discuss any of Mr. Pool's guests, the nature of his live streams, anything like that. This is not what that's about. Somebody pinged me on Twitter this morning and said, "Oh my God, you were mentioned. One of your fans mentioned you on Tim Pool's show." And so I go to the timestamp and I was like, oh, this could be kind of cool, because the dude does have millions of subscribers. And they were doing super chats at the end of their live stream. And so I was like, okay, let's see what all this is about. And so somebody super chatted X amount of money, and I guess they've been making fun of the incredibly derpy and stupid looking Minotaur drawing that's in a new D&D book that came out. It looks like, the Borden cow? Like the Borden Dairies logo, that is exactly what the Minotaur looks like now. Like, compare the Errol Otis or the Bill Willingham Minotaur or the David A. Trampier Minotaur or pretty much anybody's Minotaurs in classic, original, or first edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons. With that, it is the definition of stupid looking. Theirs, not the old one. The new one, rather, is the definition of stupid looking. Anyway, I guess at some point during the show they were making fun of that. Because let's face it, even normie press outlets at this point are getting on the Bash Wizards of the Coast train. You can't ignore stupid of that magnitude. You can't. So during the course of the conversation, somebody does a super chat, they read the person's super chat, and the super chat was, "Hey, here's $10 from the Dungeon Delver. We do a live stream." And I was like, and then it gets on Twitch. Check us out. Okay, let me be 100% clear. I'm not on Twitch. There are fake Dungeon Delvers out there on Twitch. There's like 4 other Dungeon Delver channels on Rumble. And when I say fake, I'm just being salty. I don't mean like they're pretending to be me, or they're restreaming my stuff saying they're me. At least I don't think so. At least I don't think so. But I was a little disappointed. In that. And if anybody saw it, I just wanted to let you know I don't have a Twitch stream. Probably never will. And I don't I'm not. I don't. I have a Twitch account so that there are Twitch streams that I can watch. And Viking Head is right. So if you saw that, if you hear about that, if anybody in the community like out there is like, oh my gosh, Dungeon Delver did a super, or somebody associated with the show did a super to Tim Pool. No, they didn't. That is someone else. That is somebody else's Delver's Dungeon or Dungeon Delver channel on Twitch. It's not me. So I felt it necessary to mention that, just because I didn't want anybody to go out there and be like, oh, hey, yeah, that's really cool. I'm going to check Bill out on Twitch instead of on YouTube. I'm not on Twitch. If you go out and you see that content and you're like, money for Bill, it's not. It's please don't. If you like that person's content, do it. Just understand it's not helping me. It's not that. No, I'm not going to wear a black knit cap because I'm not bald from here up yet. Tim is. You want to see a funny video? He was like live somewhere, and somebody just ran by and snatched that cap off and said, I know, it's assault and theft. I know, I understand. But as soon as that cap came off, Tim looks like the pharmacist. He was, well, you could use the generic, it's cheaper, but I'd talk to my doctor if I were you. He looks like a character from the Muppets. I'm sorry. Anyway, so that's what that's about. I literally felt it necessary to mention that there is no correlation between myself and that individual, whoever that was. I mean, you know what? If it gets me traffic, that's awesome. If it gets me traffic, that is fantastic. He's a culture vulture, culture warrior kind of guy, Vaughn. That's who he is. All right, look. That's enough of that nonsense. Let's do different nonsense. And I'm going to put my headphones on. I'm getting serious because I'm putting my headphones on. And let us welcome a close personal friend of mine. He's pretty far away, actually, as friends go, but he is a personal friend of mine anyway. The Viking Hat GM, Kyle. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm a culture warrior. I believe Kenda should never have existed.
Right on.
Destroy them all, I say.
Destroy them all. Nuke them all.
I'm intrigued by this wearing of a knit cap once you start balding, because I probably need to start doing that.
Yeah, well, that's why I have my hair long, Kyle. My hairline is chasing it back. There's a foot race between my hairline and the tips of my long tresses, and we're going to see who wins. Hint: it ain't going to be my long tresses. So anyway, why don't we bring the rest of our players in? Now we're one short tonight. We had a player call out for illness, which we do, folks. If you watch these live streams and you watch our games, and you're like, I say stuff like, so and so couldn't be here, so we're cutting it short. 3 out of these people. We're not a big production here. We're actual gamers. All right, we're actual gamers, and occasionally, folks got to miss games. So let's welcome the folks who did make it here tonight. And we have Doomsword Deathmaster as Lieutenant Rashawn Stone. Doomsword, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Doomsword is trying to get that runner-up medal for most stream appearances other than Kyle. Let's see. From his own channel, Paint Minis Live, which is a great YouTube channel that everyone should subscribe to if you want to watch some cool mini painting happening. A really good guy, a great guy. Bill Trethway. I'm never sure about that, Bill. So feel free to correct me. Bill T from Paint Minis Live.
Hey, how's it going, Bill? Hey, everybody.
It is going. And of course, we have Connect One is also on this live stream. Everybody say hello to Connect.
Evening.
Heyo.
G'day.
So we're all here. Kyle's in charge. Kyle, if you want to make you bigger, and all of us can just be pushed off to the side, I completely understand.
Let's blend this all together. There we go.
Alrighty.
And then what was the other one? I put a background in there somewhere, but it disappeared. Oh, never mind. I was going to change the background from dungeon to a cityscape or whatever, but it doesn't matter. That'll
we'll have one next. We'll get that fixed next week. It may have, when I kind of got rid of a lot of stuff for my currently hibernating American football channel. I may have accidentally moved that off StreamYard and into a folder on the streaming PC, but we'll fix it later. So, okay. Kyle, the con is yours.
All right, then. Title courtesy of Bill from last week. That was his last comment on the stream last week. Alrighty, so where are we? Oh, I removed the wrong one. Let's see. Why is it? There we go. All right, introduce your characters. First up, we've got Safi's character, Sumuata.
Yep. I am a bad girl. A tough girl. Basically. I can speak English and Arabic. I am the explosives and tech specialist of the group. I also like to brawl. So that's just kind of the way I am.
Alrighty, and next we have Bill S's character, Warren Brown.
Okay, I am Warren Brown. I am a many tours vet. I genuinely don't like dealing with people in combat situations unless it's at the far end of something made by Colt Arms American, or preferably through the camera hanging underneath an MQ-1 Reaper. However, if push comes to shove and I have to get down and dirty, I absolutely will. Soldiering is what I know, and what I know is soldiering. So the minute I walked off of the grounds of the Fort Worth Military Preservation, I did a U-turn and walked right back in and filled out some paperwork, and here I am.
Well, you may not like getting up close and personal, but your character is good at it because he's got punching and handguns. So
I know,
he does have a
but
machine gun. But
a man can be of two minds, I think.
this is true. You can be good at things that you don't like and bad at things
Yes.
that you do like.
Yes.
And every military, and I assume private military corporations as well, has a certain fraction of people who just don't fit in anywhere else. They don't fit in very well in the military, but they certainly don't fit in anywhere else. So that might be him. All right, Sergeant Stapleton, Jason's character. Jason is absent, but Stapleton was the commando. He speaks Georgian and Russian from some ex-wife he had. Plays rugby. Is good with firearms, first aid, survival, and stealth in arid regions. And he's pretty switched on. He's pretty switched on with his tactical observation. He failed to get into uni, failed to get into the police, and so eventually joined the army. And that's where he ended up staying. And then as an NPC, permanent NPC, is Stu Bennett, who's a big brawling type and a little bit temperamental. His saying is, if brute force doesn't work, use more. He was previously in the military. He got a medical discharge after a head injury, which may explain some of his behavior. McPherson, played by Bill T. Tell us about him, Bill.
Well, this is Daniel McPherson, Kilo 25 out of the group. He failed to make it into the commandos after taking an injury and doing a discharge with that. He got injured in during training, and so his fallback was to join the PMCs and to continue his service that way. He's also the team's physician.
Okay. And then we're left with Lieutenant Rashan Stone, played by Doomsday.
Yeah, Lieutenant Rashawn Stone is a 3-term Army veteran. He's generally considered to be, by his comrades through proof, a pretty good rifleman and an expert with handguns, as much as you could call him an expert. I mean, he's as good as anybody else, I suppose. But he was sent in to provide support to this group and was inadvertently, at least from his perspective, chosen to sort of be an overseer and in charge of the group. He's a generally pretty quiet guy, but he knows how to get into the stuff, so to speak. And right now, he's primarily playing a observation role. To make sure that this goes according to plan. And of course, I suppose that what's Bill's guy's name again? Stapleton?
Warren Brown.
Oh, Brown, right.
Brown.
And Brown's been leading the group so far. Right, thank you. Brown's been leading the group so far, so Stone's observing and doesn't want to get in the way. He's been in enough situations where other people have gotten in his way in the role with small teams that he's worked with, that he finds that to be particularly obnoxious, and he doesn't want to step on any toes. But he will if he has to.
Okay. Well, he might have the chance to do so this session. All right, I want to tell you guys about a couple of movies I've been watching recently. So there's probably a game that you've heard of called Escape from Tarkov. It's a regular old first-person shooter. The game is not as good as a promotional movie they made from it. It's called Escape from Tarkov Raid. And it's this hour-long movie that you can see on YouTube. And it's very realistic, according to my limited knowledge anyway. It's very realistic. One thing, like there's this another YouTube channel called FNG Academy, and there's a lot of nowadays Green Beret or Marine reacts to such and such movie or whatever, and they give their perspective on it. These guys are former Green Berets, and they gave their perspective on this, and they said they liked things like, because normally in movies you have bang, 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 and then bang, 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 back, and bang, 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 back. But they said they don't normally depict the round that misses you and goes off the wall behind you. They don't depict the as it goes past your head, and that scares the crap out of you. This movie does depict that. They've got the guys like sitting behind a vehicle, and the rounds are going boom, boom, boom into the vehicle, and you can hear it's like a hammer on the side of on the metal of the vehicle, bang, 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 and there's bits of dust flying around and everything. And they don't pull any punches with that. They don't pull any punches in showing this. And there's another video which is about the making of, and that's all in commie language with no subtitles. So I'm sure we missed a lot, but still it's interesting to see how they did it. And they did things like to show the 50 cal rounds making holes in the ground, they put little explosives in the ground and little explosives in the walls and stuff, and set them off so they go like that. And they did the usual thing of when there's an explosion, they have the wire on the back of the guy and they send him flying, and then he goes lands on a mat, and then they put all the dust and everything in the post effects later. But what most impressed me was that there's a scene where they have an RPG fired at them, and there's this, through the air. They fired actual pyrotechnics at these guys. And they've got 3 separate scenes, and 2 of them are where the pyrotechnics going, and then in the third one, it's like goes straight, and that's obviously the one that they used. But yeah, so there's these 2 Russian guys, and it's going like within 3 feet of them, right past them. The Russians don't mess around when they're making movies, or Ukrainians, or whatever the hell they are. They don't mess around; they take it seriously. So there's that Escape from Tarkov raid, which is completely fictional. But then I love
the video. Absolutely hate the game. I've seen their promotional videos and they're really well done, like you said. But oh my god, that game frustrates me to no end. I think I bought like 2 keyboards. 2 of them got deleted after playing that game. Horrible. Can't handle it.
Yeah. So I agree. The video is much superior to the video game. But so that's an interesting movie to watch if you're interested in kind of realistic small unit tactics and depiction of what it's like. One thing I think that they got pretty right is that a lot of movies don't. It's just how loud it is. I think I've mentioned to the crew, but maybe not all the audience will know. The typical rifle or handgun round is in the 160s decibel range. And if you wear hearing protection, that drops it by 30. If there's a suppressor, it drops by 30. But to 130 decibels, that is as loud as being in the front row at a stock car race. So it's not just, it's still really loud.
Yeah.
And this is why the guys have training, obviously, to be able to just still act usefully despite all the noise and chaos around them. Sorry, someone was going to say?
No, I was just going to mention. I've heard. I may have read it somewhere, but there was discussion about suppressors, about just that, how it literally it is a suppressor. It's not a silencer. Silencers don't exist, with one exception. There's a Russian 9mm handgun that is designed to use subsonic rounds, and you literally have to cycle the whole handgun manually. It's like an old revolver, except it's a semi-auto. The entire barrel is a suppressor, and you have to twist it like halfway around to cycle the gun to eject another round. But someone referred to what you hear in movies from silence guns as being kitten farts. A little chirp, 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 chirp as a kitten fart, and it's not kitten farts. It's the difference between having your eardrums blown out and your ears just ringing a little bit afterward.
Yeah, and like I mean, I'm sure that after you've fired lots of live rounds, firing some live rounds suppressed would sound nice and quiet because just you've lost 50% of your hearing. But
there's two places, and I think they're kind of show relevant, so I'm going to mention these. There's two places in media where I have seen it, where I've seen we're shooting from inside the car or inside an enclosed space, really, really, really incredibly well depicted. One of those is in a movie called Snatch. These two, everyone in the movie is a buffoon except probably for Dennis Farina's character. And the two bad guys, one of them has a blanks only replica gun, but the blanks are still the same powder charge as, so, you know, they're 9mm pistols. They take 9mm blanks. They still go boom. And so he's talking about how are these going to intimidate people? They're replicas. And he goes, well, it's like this. And he pulls the trigger inside the car. And of course, everyone's eardrums are shattered and like the windows crack. It's great. And the other is equally funny. There is a cartoon here in America called Archer. And it is a spoof on spy movies. It's an adult cartoon. It's very grown up. Don't let your kids see this. But after they have close quarters shootouts, particularly if they're in vehicles, all the characters are trying the ear popping thing to get their hearing back. It always happens. They're walking around going, "Mup, mup, mup." Trying to get their ears to uncringe after these close-in firefights, and they're yelling "what" at each other because of the bullet sounds. So I just wanted to add to the discussion.
Well, there's a second movie called Best in Hell. And it's a Russian war movie, and it's called Best in Hell, as the intro narrative says. Basically, we're all going to die horribly. It's a Russian movie; everyone dies at the end. You know? So we're all going to die horribly, and we're all going to go to hell. But we'll still be the best. We'll be the best in hell. And it's a movie made by the Russian private military organization Wagner Group, of all people. And they just have the white team and the yellow team, but it's quite obviously the Russians and Ukrainians. And the story is that that the white team, they need to fight through this bit of town because at 7 o'clock, there's going to be a bombing run come in. And the bombing run needs somebody to be the forward observer and call in targets and so on. So they have to get to the highest building, which is this 9-story building. And so basically they've got like a 2-story building, a 4-story building, a 5-story building, and a 9-story building. And they're all in a line at right angles to their current front lines. So they have to fight through each one and then fight through into the 9th one until they reach the 9th one, and they take the first few floors, and then the white team takes the first few floors, and then the yellow team comes in from the basement and takes the second. So the yellow and the team is above and below them, and like a vice or whatever. Now, this movie isn't just small unit tactics. They've got a lot of stuff about artillery and mortars and so on, counter battery fire. So like some 120mm mortars are firing on the infantry. So then the enemy get the 122mm artillery to do counter battery fire against the mortars. So then their enemy get the 155mm artillery to fire on the 120mm. And then the 240mm mortar comes in as well to mess them all up. So it's basically this artillery duel with these infantrymen crawling around under the explosions underneath all this. And it's really brutal and savage. They don't pull any punches. They've got a realistic depiction of things in that they have things like a tank comes up and it fires into a building, and so the guys inside are all lying around. Some are dead, some are blown to pieces, some are wounded, and then there's one guy who's apparently unwounded, but then he starts throwing up. Well, that's what happens if you get a severe concussion. You can have vomiting. I have never seen a severe concussion leading to vomiting depicted in any movie before, whether a military or a civilian setting. But it is a realistic thing, and it does happen. So, yeah, they certainly do not pull any punches. Don't watch this movie if you have a weak stomach. Don't watch it after eating or before eating a lovely dinner. It might put you off. And also don't watch it if you like the idea of good guys and bad guys, because and an incompetent enemy and all that sort of stuff, because everyone is depicted as reasonable and intelligent and decent human beings. And
wait, I thought you said this was about Wagner PMC.
Well, I said they're depicted as that. Whether Wagner is doing a reasonable depiction of itself is another question, but this is how they're depicting it.
Spoiler alert, they're not.
So, yeah, but it's a very good movie. It's just very brutal, but it's a step up from the small unit tactics. It has this funny thing, which it makes it more like a documentary, where every now and then the white commander will sort of step in and he'll do a presentation, be standing in front of a board and say, well, at this point in the battle, this is what was happening, and so on. So he's giving an overview. So anyone who's got an interest in the tactics and approach of modern warfare, what is actually happening out there in peer conflicts nowadays, will be interested in that. I think it's something that Western officers should have a look at, certainly. But yeah, it's an interesting movie. Brutal, though. Brutal. Okay.
I tried to click the link and watch that, and it's been turned off in my country. So I guess I'd have to get a VPN.
VPN, or just keep looking for it. Just do a web search for Best in Hell 2022, whatever, because it's floating around everywhere. I think it's even on YouTube, but somebody's done the thing, because YouTube deletes it, but somebody does the thing where they reverse it to make it harder to spot. But then it kind of makes the subtitles less than useful. Yeah, and I think the Russians have subtitled it using Google Translate or something, because they have some strange phrases, like when they receive something on the radio, instead of saying copy, they say plus. This must be a literal translation of whatever they say in Russian in commie speak. And they say also, they said it in Tarkov as well. They walk in and there's a bunch of guys, they've thrown an explosive in or something, and there's a bunch of guys lying around woozy or apparently dead or whatever, and they say control, and there's like boop, 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 and they put a double tap into each guy. That's their phrase every time, control. So that must be a literal translation of something in Russian that makes more sense there, but yeah. So there you go. Anyway, so that's it's a step up from the small unit sort of tactics that you guys do in the game, but it still might be of interest. All right, who's going to give us a rundown on what happened in the last session?
Well, as far as I can remember,
go ahead.
We got back to the PMC headquarters and we talked to a couple folks there. They wanted us to go and find out who had leaked the information potentially from the convoy that we had taken to the airport, or from the airport to the HQ that was ambushed. So they wanted us to go track that down. I believe Bill went and talked to the sheriff in town, the local police captain, and him and Stone and Sullivan, right? Yeah, Sullivan all went down and found a captured militant down there who had been tortured, I guess, and they interrogated him a little bit. We found out a little bit of information. Me and Sumawara checked some techno black magicry and found out that there were some cell phones in the area at the time that we were ambushed near the airport. So we kind of made a game plan between cobbling all together the information that we should head back to the airport, try and find this phone, And we went back to the airport, started talking to some of the guards at the original welcoming station, and we decided to dial up the number of one of the cell phones in the area, and found that it was actually on one of the guards. And then Stu Bennett decided to go and punch him in the throat. And we kind of got surrounded by the base guards, and I'm assuming they're all in a giant powwow circle around us, guns pointed, and we're kind of just sticking our hands up while Stu is dealing with the aftermath of his anger issues.
And that's when I made those incredible negotiation rolls, and they realized the whole thing was just a big mistake, and I think that's where we left off.
Right.
Well-
yeah.
Brown also indicated that Bennett was out.
Yeah. I remember him being pretty stiff on that, though.
Yeah, Stone was.
He was trying to make some distance between the two parties, or three parties at that point. Stu's on his own.
Well, you guys know that won't
I
be
tried.
that won't be your decision. That's the decision of what's his name? That's the decision of the boss, Kilo Alpha. Stephen Lang. That's his decision, not yours.
Oh, for sure. I think we were just saying that was our intent.
Yeah.
We were making distance.
Okay,
between
so
them.
yeah, a week has gone by. So what happened was that the Marines escorted you away from the tent. The Marine had been punched in the throat. Was he didn't die or anything. He's just in really bad shape. And they escort you off away from their little tent, and basically let you know, don't look to us for any help from now on. And you get escorted to the gate of the airport and sent away, and say, come back when you're leaving the country. And then you made your way back to the PMC headquarters or whatever. So you had about a week in which you could do various things that didn't require you going off the headquarters, and then you'll be given something else to do. So what are you going to do during that week? The Lang says, no, we're not going to kick the guy off the team. If we kicked every PMC operator off the team who was a bit temperamental, we wouldn't have anyone left.
That's not a bit temperamental, sir. He almost got shot to death by Marines.
Exactly, and I get that too. I don't kick people off the team. We see a lot of stuff in this kind of situation, but he was out of control. Sometime he's going to get out of control, and somebody else is going to get out of control on him.
Well, you're his commander. It's your responsibility to control him.
Yeah, I know how that goes. Maybe he don't like Brown. I don't know.
All right.
Well, you guys, you will have to resolve it. You're the commander.
Hey, Stu, you might want to ask, what can Brown do for you?
In the intervening week, Kyle, I want a laundry list of what human assets we have.
Well, they're not going to give you a whole list of all their names and that, because that would compromise them. But what do you want to know? Because they'll give you the information that they get from the assets, but they're not going to give you a whole list of the assets.
Okay.
In the words of the Terminator, I have extensive files.
You have extensive files. Okay. All right. So we know that everybody in the green zone who was near Ground Zero got strong-armed into leaving, right? Nobody just rolled over and complied for the kill team that came after us, right?
Mm-hmm. No. I mean, so there's the people in the green zone either are mostly working for the government or for the PMCs. and for UN non-governmental organisations and that sort of thing. Right. So
Right.
that's most of the people there. Apart from there's like a chunk of the populace who have got fruit markets and that sort of thing.
Right. And
So,
I know as I recall.
all that happened apparently was that when you guys got ambushed 2 weeks ago, is that the word had got around that there would be an ambush, and nobody knows exactly where the word got around, but word got around, and it turns out that it did get back to the PMC HQ. It just didn't get back to the PMC HQ quick enough for them to tell you. Does that make sense? So, yeah, it's just a matter of timing. It's not that necessarily the locals all wanted you to be brutally killed, but just word takes time to pass along.
No, I've got you.
It's like if your house is on fire, the fire brigade's going to take a while to get there. But in this case, it's a matter of you don't just ring up the fire brigade, but you have to tell someone who tells someone who tells someone who tells someone. And by the time they get there, it's burned down to the ground. So that seems to be what has happened here. And then, of course, there was your share of people who armed men ran past their apartment, so they just ducked down because their families and stuff. They just ducked down and minded their own business. Because what could they have done except, call out the window, "Watch out, guys," and you wouldn't have heard them over the Humvee engines and stuff anyway. So, they just ducked down, and then once the machine guns and stuff started coming out, then everyone just hid underneath their bed or behind the bedside cabinet or something and prayed.
McPherson would like to spend, his week with the HQ medical staff.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, is the medical staff, are they subcontractors or were they brought in by the PMC?
Okay, so you've got a couple of doctors that work for the PMC. One is more of your general practitioner type, and then one is you're not even sure if she's a doctor or just a senior nurse, intensive care, trauma kind of nurse practitioner type person. You're not even sure what level she is, but because anything more serious, and they the theory is that you come in and she just stops you dying in the next few hours, and then they take you straight to the airport, load you on a plane, and take you to Germany.
Right. Is she local?
No, she's not local. All the ones in the PMC HQ are not locals.
Okay. All right.
So remember, there's the PMC, there's the building, long building, and the PMC on one side, and the Das Kapital Police on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So the Das Kapital Police are all local, except the commander, he's a local, but he's a different ethnic group. He's not Pamir.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna spend a week with the medical staff and just see if I can't brush up and maybe become a bit more proficient, or at least less rusty. Yeah. Maybe do some stitches or something.
Yep.
Stone's gonna spend. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go to headquarters as well, but I'm going to go into the tech area and ingrain myself and try to pull as much data in that I can, as well as follow up on the mole.
Yeah. What
and
specifically
gather
are you looking for?
that stuff. Yep.
What specifically are you looking for? Because you're not looking for a needle in a haystack, you're looking for a piece of straw in a haystack. So,
well, we know the number and we know who had the phone, the burner phone. So I'm going to focus on that as a side thing, a side project. So I'm not necessarily, I'm doing it clandestinely.
Okay,
because I don't want to piss them off.
Are you going to the local drinking holes and just kind of poking around, or I guess hookah bars?
No, the tech.
And poking around. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm doing all the electronic surveillance type of stuff.
All right, so the Yeah, so as I said last week, the burner phone was bought in the US about a week before you guys left there, and came over here.
So pulling records, how long has he been here, or would have been delivered to him? I guess is what the question would be. Then.
Okay, and the Marine who retrieved the phone from his backpack before he got punched in the face by Bennett, or punched in the throat by Bennett. That Marine has been deployed here for the last 2 months.
So he could have not gotten it himself, but had to have gotten it from someone else. Okay.
Yes.
So I will make that note. And I'll share that with our team only at this point.
Yeah. The burner phone was bought with cash over in the US as well. And it appears to have been briefly turned on in the US for like 2 minutes and no calls made, no calls or text made, and then and turned off again until it was turned on just after your aircraft landed.
Where was it bought in the U.S.?
It was bought in the same state that you took off from. I don't know, say New York.
Okay. All right. Kyle, if my entire week wasn't spent trying to absorb the info that I had mentioned before, and it's fine if it was. I'm not trying to go make a character. I'd like to take a couple of days, read up on the local customs that are specific enough that my 12 years in various spots of the world identical to this one won't cover it. And if he's available and if he's willing, I'd like to have the chief of police, the fellow we met, and talk to that guy. I'd like to have dinner with him. Just kind of inform.
Yeah, Charles will go for dinner with you. Yeah.
Great, and I culturally, I will suborn myself. I will absolutely follow in his footsteps. Exactly, I'll step where he steps when it comes
to. Charles is very westernized.
Oh, okay.
You go for dinner with him at the hotel where all the top UN officials and stuff stay, and like he has like steak and chips and has a glass of like 1970 red wine with it and stuff.
Fair enough. I can do that too. I was picturing like it's like yellow rice and chicken and couscous and chickpeas and stuff like that. But no, we're going.
Like if you go to dinner with one of the locals, but like one of the shopkeepers or something, but right. Then I'll bring them a bottle. The guys who rise to the top in like a puppet state like this, they're thoroughly westernized.
I'll bring him a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label. That's for you, Colonel.
All right. What are you doing? Just buttering him up, or what?
Yeah, I'm buttering him up, and I mean, I call a spade a spade. I'm pumping him for information, and I'll let slip whatever I think I can without being too compromising. And I just not in a surreptitious or nasty way. I'm literally, if you want to role play this out, I'll just look him straight in the eye and say, look, we're grasping at straws here. I got 4 injured Marines. I got 2 wrecked vehicles. We damn near blew a fucking moon crater in the middle of the city. A dead Marine. So honestly, anything you can give me. I mean, how does information filter up? Because I'm getting Ahmed told Imad told Abraham told Ahmed, when I am trying to find out who shot John in the middle of that damn ambush.
He said, "Well, that's the way it works in this country." He said, "You know, they used to do a lot of comms, the enemy, but we listened to their electronic comms, and we sent 1,000-pound bombs to deal with them. So they've gone word of mouth and messengers on motorcycles and that sort of thing. So at the moment, we have to get information one toe and one finger at a time."
You have anybody you're leaning on to, or anybody you're looking at to put the bag on?
Not in particular about this issue, no.
Mm. Well, I thank you for your candor. I absolutely appreciate it. Under the circumstances, I hope we don't have to work too closely together. But if we do, I'm looking forward to it. You seem to be a stand-up individual and a straight shooter, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Lieutenant Stone.
Yeah, so Stone's primary objective is to get a lay of the land here, in terms of personnel and positions and that sort of thing. And spend a little time getting to know the squad and bonding with them and collecting as much intel from Brown as I can.
Okay.
Just basic acquaintance type stuff, because there hasn't been enough downtime for him to have done that previously.
All right. Well, there's a second team, that's out there, but you just see them briefly when they come in to resupply. They're out there keying doors in at the moment this week. They've been doing that. When they finished, you'll be going out and taking over. You get that impression. And Bennett spends the week basically working out, punching bags and kicking them and lifting weights and giving surly looks to Warren Brown. And muttering under his breath, like, "You wanted me out of the team."
Oh, if he mutters that, I'll walk right up to him and look him straight in the eye, and I'll say, "I goddamn good and well wanted you right out of the team, you maniac."
And he puts a finger in your chest and says, "Loyalty is important."
Yes, loyalty is important. Not getting shot to death by a bunch of trigger-happy crayon eaters is equally important.
And he just sort of, he makes a spitting motion without actually spitting at you. He just, and then goes back to punching the punching bag.
Say, Stone, I was just wondering, if you're going around meeting the group and all that, what's one interesting thing about Stone we don't know if we, when we converse with you? What's one interesting thing?
Man, that's kind of a tough question. There's a lot of things that are kind of interesting, but what can I say? I love Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, all right.
All right, so that's your week. All right, so we're now up to the 25th of October 2023. And Lang gathers you together this week and gathers you together to give you a mission briefing. And he says, okay, so the situation is, we believe that our Russian friends are going to start supplying anti-aircraft missiles, shoulder-launch anti-aircraft missiles to the insurgents. They're going to do to us what we did to them in Afghanistan. And basically, that's the thing that's like having choppers flying around is the thing that's helping us control this country. So we need to deal with that. We've got the name down for a couple of sites, and we need to go and clear those sites out. And if there are any missiles there, dispose of them in place. Preferably capture some of the guys alive so that we can find out what route they're coming into the country, and who's the agent, because there must be some Russian agent who's bringing them in. They won't just be walking up to the border and then putting them on the other side of the border so that the insurgents can grab them. There'll be somebody who's arranging it. There'll be money changing hands.
They're strictly boots, or we got air support?
Well, you may have a drone available for recon. It just depends on the timing. Drones are, we don't have 100% coverage over the country. It's just it can be just a matter of luck. So you might get one straight away. You might have to wait an hour. There might be somebody else engaged in a heavy contact who needs it more than you do. As for support, well, that'll be the same deal. We've got choppers. We can chopper you in. You might be better off going in on the ground, because you can have a couple of Hummers with guns on them. Whereas if we take you in by chopper, you won't be able to have the Hummers. So it's up to you. That's your choice, basically. You can choose between a troop chopper, which will have guns on either side and can hover around as you do the insertion, and it can provide the air support. Or you can go in on the ground and with Hummers that have got turrets on them and 50 cals and do your own ground support, but then you won't have that aerial recon. Aside from that, how you guys gear up as individuals and how you approach it is up to you.
What do you think, Brown?
We're going in by air. The flexibility and the speed far outweigh the fire support on the ground. I want everybody kitted up, plate carriers, load them up, water, a unit of plasma each, 2 flashbangs, 1 frag, 1 smoke, M4, 9mm, 4 magazines for your M4, 4 for your 9mm. Radios, Sumatra, I want you to clear comms all the way and quadruple check everything. Stone,
I'll get the partridge in a pear tree ready for you there, Brown.
Yeah, you do that. Stone, I want every long arm, every sidearm to your specification as far as cleanliness. I don't want a speck of dust on a single one of them.
Technically, Stone will be in charge, and you'll be second in charge. So it will be your job to do the inspection of that.
Well,
Stone should be giving this lecture.
Well, he's not.
No, I ain't. Yeah, you know what? I used to inspect the weapons. I was a weapon inspector for a while. My science background and whatnot. I know how to whip these pair into shape.
All right, I'm knife handing in front of a PowerPoint. If you know, you know.
So I'm checking out specs and I'm bringing explosives.
Yep.
Where is this going down? Is my question. We didn't get a place name, did we?
No.
2 possible sites.
2 sites. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I guess I'll grab a squad loaded field kit and 2 IFACs. Bring on my person too, just in case if somebody forgets one. I'm looking at you, Stu.
And make sure.
So you know how to clean that weapon, son? You're medic, right?
A little bit. Yeah, maybe you can show me a thing or two.
Yeah, let me tell you, man. A field jam is a real son of a bitch. You don't want none of that.
Yeah.
You want to shoot once, kill once. Let
Kinda
me show
sounds
you
like
what I
you've
learned.
Been drinking too much on a Friday night, and you end up with a hookup.
I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, that'll be one of the role playing things that Stone does. Is bonding with the group, sitting around talking about proper mechanical cleaning and whatnot, and particularly with the rifle.
All right. Trying to think if there's anything else. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I'm absolutely certain I'm forgetting. Oh, is that drone eyes only, or can we put warhead on forehead with it if we need?
It's eyes only. It's just an observation drone.
All right. God bless the CIA. All right.
Yeah, they put that stuff where they don't need it and don't put it where they do. Well, we're gonna do this smoothing by the numbers, anyways.
Some 19-year-old in Foggy Bottom is eating M&Ms and dropping $85,000 JDAMs on mud huts that have a grand total of $23 worth of Tupperware in them. So it's all going into Raytheon's bank account some way or the other.
Say, Alan, you don't happen to have any maps of these two areas, would you? We can at least get a look at them.
Yeah, maps coming up.
I'll try to pull up anything I can.
Okay, so the maps are not great. It's not very well photographed by satellite. Just finding the spot. I had a bookmark before, but I lost a stupid bookmark because I'm an idiot. All right. All righty. All righty. Got a link for you guys. Link. Location. And for those in the audience, we can post that up as well. Okay, so it's this little part of Tajikistan. Okay. Just down in there. Right, now that spot, if you zoom on out, you can see over this way, there's a road to the north that goes into Kyrgyzstan. It's about 80 kilometers away from that road. There's a road north goes into Kyrgyzstan, and it's also along an ill-defined border with the western part of China.
I'm sure that's not going to pose any issues whatsoever.
And there's also a lake there. That lake's got a big hydroelectric dam on it. So, all right, so that region is called Markansu. All right, where are we? Okay, so you're up there, and this is at quite some altitude. So everyone's got effectively one level less health because you're going around be wheezing along. The chopper's going along, and you have to use one of the old Russian choppers. The American choppers don't have the altitude; they wheeze out. So yeah, you're coming along in a chopper, and you come down an approach, and basically there's a largish farmhouse which is on one of those ridge lines.
Okay.
And there's a number of pretty woolly sheep or goats or something all around the place. So, yeah, what time of day do you want to go in? What do you want to? How do you want to approach it? Like I said, the house itself, the farmhouse, is on the ridge line. There's a couple of outlying buildings, sheds, and so on. The chopper will be heard from about 5+ kilometers away, and yeah, it's up to you how you approach in.
What's the weather like? Apologies.
Roll a d6.
Cold and dry.
Yeah, most likely, but I don't even know like the time of the year or anything like that, and I wonder about the altitude.
It's October 25th, 2023.
Oh, okay, great. So it just basically follows the day, right?
We try to do it one to one from week to week, obviously not during the session.
Yeah. Right, that works. And typically at this altitude, what's the altitude like? I mean, do we have snow on the mountains as in the
so
picture?
you can see on the sat map that you get a fair bit of snow in the region. There's some permanent glaciers there, but yeah, there will be snow in the winter time. So roll a d6.
That'd be a 4.
Okay, so yeah, this as it was said earlier, it was just cold, dry weather. It's about -10 centigrade.
Right, so it warms up considerably a little bit later in the morning, I would assume.
You would hope so, yeah. And there's a fair bit of wind. It's channeled by that big valley there. So yeah, it's up to you what time of day you come in. Whether you just drop yourselves on top of the farmhouse and then drop through the roof, or you get dropped 10 kilometers away and then yomp it in. It's up to you.
So, do we have night vision goggles?
Yeah.
Let's be boots on the ground 5 clicks away at 0230.
Yep.
I'm good
Now,
with that.
what do you want to do? What do you want to do with the chopper?
You said we could probably be heard from about 5 clicks off, right?
Yeah.
Chopper's on station if we need aerial fire support.
Okay. It can't hang around for too long.
I understand.
It burns through a lot of fuel, particularly at this altitude.
It will.
So if you want us to be flying around, we've got about an hour. If we can land, then that extends it. But then, of course, we can't get to you as quickly.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. When we hump in, if it drops in the pot, it's either going to be just like that, or it's not going to matter at all. So the way I see it, do a drop off, be cool, drink some coffee, watch a podcast, and keep your damn ears open.
Bennett says, and what do you think, Mr. Stone?
Well, I think you guys been a little deeper into this stuff than I have. But how long did it take the chopper to get us to 5 clicks away from where we're going?
We haven't gone yet. This is just you're in
how long will it take?
Situation room, and you're going through and cleaning your rifles and stuff and making your plans. It will take about 4 hours to fly up there.
Right. We're going to need a quick extraction. We ain't got 4 hours to burn. I'm in agreement with Brown. Things go as planned. We're going to need to get pulled out quick. Things don't go as planned. We won't need to get pulled out at all. I'd like to see if there's a place we can land that chopper so that we got the time to do what we want to do, build an extraction zone and get back. But once again, you guys know this place better than I do. I ain't never been in this country.
It's a risk, Stone. It's definitely a risk. I mean, one good shot from, a sniper rifle is all it takes. And we got no
That's
pilot.
it. And I tell you what, Bennett. All right, listen. Whatever differences you got with anybody, you need to find a way to control that. You belay that. All right? Because something out here can get you, and other people might not know what it was. We got whatever story we want to tell back there. You're in the stuff now, my man. Don't get me killed. Don't get the squad killed.
He just sort of looks sideways at you.
McPherson starts
that's
rummaging
right.
around in the squad pack, and he's like, "Where did this horse tranquilizer come from?" I don't know. I'll put it back in there. Just displays it, says it out loud openly.
Man, this guy like takes ketamine for breakfast. This Bennett.
Do any of us have any background in this area at all, or knowledge from prior
What of the
experiences?
Tajikistan area? No,
Yep.
the Stapleton would be the closest because he speaks Russian and Georgian. So there'd be a number of people. Most of the older population in the area would speak Russian from the time when it was part of the Soviet Union. And some of the younger people would too, because there's a fair bit of travel back and forth to Russia. It's, Russia's kind of like what France and Germany are to Greece or something in Europe. Russia is to these Central Asian republics. It's still kind of the leading one, and the top officials and ministers and everything go to the Moscow University and so on. It's not a formal, does that make sense? It's still a union, but it's not as tight as it once was. Really, so so Stapleton will speak Russian, but as for knowing the lay of the ground, no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so your plan is to land at 0230 and then tab it in on foot, yeah? Is that correct?
Yep, that is the plan.
Alrighty. Okay, so who's buddied up with who? Because there's always 2 and 2, 2 and 2.
I will go with with McPherson.
All right.
Yeah, and I'll go with Ollie. Is that how you would say that?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so that leads Jason's character. What's his name? That leaves Stapleton to go with Bennett. The 2 NPCs can go together. Ideally, there'd be an NPC and a PC. So if you don't mind, swap it around, because otherwise I have, what I mean? I don't want to sit there rolling dice against myself.
Sure. I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go with Bennett. Maybe I've got the horse tranquilizer. So.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that I keep eyes on Bennett as well. So I don't want that guy behind me or off to my 5 o'clock or something.
So we'll be in the
Right,
back
yeah.
then.
Some in the audience are complaining the conflict resembles current reality a bit too much. Hey, it's not my fault. When I wrote it, there wasn't all these wars going on. Don't blame me. I didn't start them. The world was nice and peaceful when I started. I keep these things in mind. I don't want to inspire anyone. I'm just writing an explosives entry for book 2, and I'm carefully editing it so that it cannot be an instruction manual in any way, shape, or form, or inspire anyone. So that's why I've got the dedication in the book to my children. May all your conflicts be imaginary. Imaginary conflict, awesome. Real ones, no, thank you. Anyway, alrighty. So you fly out there. The flight over there is uneventful. It takes them a little bit to find a decent place to to land because they basically need a 30-foot clear flat spot to be able to land. And this is pretty rocky because this is glacial overflow. So they've got a lot of basically big rocks. It's like a whole mountainside of gravel. But they do eventually find a place that's flat enough that they can land. You guys pile out.
All right, everybody, we're parked in the goofy lot.
It's a half moon out tonight and the sky is clear. So once your eyes adjust, you will be able to move along in the dark without your MVGs, without your nods.
All right.
But yeah, it's 5Ks. You think it's probably going to take you a couple of hours because you guys are geared up. Plus, it's at altitude. So, like I said, you're all got effectively one less level of health because you go. Walking feels like running.
Okay.
Does the altitude to the location does it go downward, slope downward, or are we, sort of on a level plane?
It's about the same. So you guys are going to be going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up along these little,
right,
like scree slopes, and until you approach the farmhouse. Yeah.
We don't have tech yet that can concentrate oxygen out of the air for us.
Say again.
She was asking about like rebreathers, basically.
Yeah, you could have taken oxygen tanks. I'm not sure if they would have had them at the HQ, but all right.
Can I give? Well, are we on the ground now? Or
yes, you're on the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you've landed with it in the chopper.
I'm going to give everybody a dose of acetazolamide for to prevent AMS while we ascend.
Yep. Good thinking. Are you going to explain to them what it is?
Oh, well, like, so I don't know all of what AMS is, but like, I'm guessing just to dilate your blood vessels and allow oxygen to flow more freely through your bloodstream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean its purpose rather than the exact physiology involved.
Oh, the purpose of giving them a shot like that?
Yes.
So they don't pass out
from the altitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to pass out. It's just a matter of whether or not they'll get altitude sickness or whatever. But that takes a number of hours to set in usually.
Right.
So yeah, and then we'll just do checks along the way.
Thanks.
All right. So you go along for about. Say again.
Thanks for putting me in the hot seat, Kyle. I'm scratching the back of my EMT training really hard right now.
Oh, I don't expect you to, for reference as GM and my general game advice as well, is you don't need to go into such detail, but it is fair if a player says, "Oh, is there some drug that I, as a medic, would know will help them with the altitude?" And the GMs could say, "Oh, I don't know. Roll a dice against your skill." And then if they roll well, okay, yes, there is. And the GM doesn't have to know anything about that at all. The same for all the trauma care and all the rest. You don't have to know anything about it at all. Just, like you don't have to know about weapons ballistics at all either. I mean, you just, like, you've got a weapon and your character knows. Oh, yeah. So you just roll the dice to see how good a job you do. That's all.
Okay.
But that was still much cooler. I appreciate that.
Now, if the player does want to go in and do all this research and everything, and then bring that to the game, I think that's awesome. But it's not necessary for play. It's not a requirement. I wouldn't put that on players to require them that they do all that. Like Safi, tell us exactly the composition of the explosives you're using. No, I wouldn't.
It's plastic.
It goes boom.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the spicy cookie dough.
I put two things together. I mush it. I put a wick in it, and we get back and say, boom.
And I giggle and run away.
There's no giggling. This is serious.
All right. So you yomp it over there, and it's a pretty hard go because you're going at altitude at night in the cold, in these scree-covered slopes. You ever done any barefoot running in the sand or something? It's a lot like that because as you step, the gravel slips underneath your boots, and that. It's pretty rough going, and it takes you a bit longer than you think it would. It takes you, in fact, 3 hours to cover those 5Ks. So it's 05:30 as you arrive.
I guess McPherson's gonna pull security while everybody disboards a chopper.
Now the local sunrise in Palmyristan at this time is 0645. It's 05:30 now. So at the moment, but of course you've got valleys and stuff, so it'll be it would be till like 10 a.m. before you actually get direct sun. But you might get a little bit of that grey appearing in the sky just off to your wrong way, off to your east. You get a bit of grey appearing in the sky. Yes, you pull security, you do all the normal patrolling things, but there's nobody around, and there's absolutely no sign of anybody around. There's no vegetation, obviously, except moss. You don't see anything living except the occasional like eagle flying above or something. If there's anything living out here, you don't see it. You may as well be on Mars. Then, so you're going along, and probably Sumawada would have the GPS. She's checking on the GPS, and says you must be close by now. And then you hear ahead sound like a bleating of goat or sheep or something. You hear up ahead of you. You don't see anything. It's like over the next scree rise. But you hear ahead, so you must be close by.
Yeah, would we have an estimate of about how close you would say? Or like right over the edge of that screen?
You should be within 500 meters of the building now.
All right.
What's the plan, Stone?
I don't know. You guys got a standard breach SOP.
I guess as the medic, I'll kind of hang in the rear.
Do we have?
Well, I know if I, for one, should at least kind of creep around, maybe up on one side of the hill, up at the apex, looking in the general direction, and see if I can't sight something. I don't just want to run over the thing and get shredded to pieces. What do you do, Brown?
Let's get up to the ridge. Let's set up a base of fire. If we see a corridor straight in, we'll stack up and roll in that way. Otherwise, we're going to observe. I don't want to go in and blow away a sleeping family.
Nope, sure don't.
All right.
Yep. Okay, so you go over and you set up an overwatch point, and you look 500 meters. You look ahead, and about 300 and something meters away, about 330, 350 meters away, you see. Do an observation check. Somebody.
All right. Let me see here. Bring up ye olde die roller. Hang on a moment.
Does Sumawada have good observation? I think.
Well, if she calls in her drone, that gives a massive bonus to obs.
I say, should we bring in the drone?
Well, we ain't got unlimited times on that, do we?
No, like I said, it doesn't. Or like Lang said to you, it's not 100% coverage over the whole country at the time. So it's a bit of a matter of luck whether you happen to get it.
Kyle does.
And what kind of speed? I apologize, but what kind of speed can we expect out of that drone? In terms
It's
of,
just a matter of whether
from
it
the-
happens to be close to you at the time and it's not on some other task.
Right, and it's not like supersonic or anything.
No.
No, it's a
That would have been sweet.
General Atomics propeller driven. Looks like a light bulb on a stick with wings wider than it is long.
Yeah.
Kyle, does readiness go into observation?
No, you're just having a look. You're not rolling
Okay.
position. You just have to look.
All right. 8 then. 8.
Okay, so you see there's a farmhouse off ahead. There's a guy sitting outside the farmhouse on a chair, and he's having a cigarette. You can't see if there's any other people around.
Has he got a weapon?
That's the question.
You can't see at this distance. If he's got a weapon, either his body is obscuring it, or it's lying somewhere close by, but it's not across his lap or at his side, which is facing towards you.
Yeah, right. It could be at his other side, though. We're facing him on the right side, or
Yes.
well, I guess it depends.
You could see him from his right-hand side. Yes.
Was that looking through a scope or binoculars?
No, but you guys are looking through scopes because you've got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have binoculars. That's going to be, like Stone or someone will have binoculars, and you will all have like 2 times scopes on your, or 1.5 or 2 times scopes on your rifles.
Yeah, I like my rifle scope.
Okay. Where are the sheep at?
They're just scattered all around the place.
Okay, so they're not.
Around here, there's a bit more grass, and there's one or two
Okay.
little trees and stuff.
There's not like a large group of them between us and him, right?
No, they're scattered all over the show for the most part.
Okay.
And they're confined within a pen.
No, they're not. There's no need to, you guess, because behind you is just all rocky scree. There's nothing for them to eat. Whereas here there are patches of grass of 20 or 30 foot across, and then more rocks, and then another patch of grass. So they're going to hang around where there's something to eat.
All right, I'm gonna bring everybody in. All right, let's stack up, move parallel to the ridge. We'll cross over and approach the house from his blind side.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. What about these sheep? Can we cause a commotion with them? Maybe he'll bring himself out in the open.
Anyway, they do that just before dawn,
Yeah,
like the birds.
I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna bite.
All right.
All right, let's go. Same formation. And that's what we'll do, Kyle. We'll follow the ridge line until we get to the point where we're 90 degrees around from where he's sitting, and beeline for the house at that point.
Okay, so you patrol along. All right, let's see. Who's the scout? Who's first out? Up. Someone with stealth.
Brown, right?
I mean, I guess I can. Yeah, sure. I'll take point.
Stapleton has got stealth and observation.
Stapleton will take point.
Yeah.
Who's going to back him up, though?
There you go.
There's always a number 1 scout, number 2 scout, number 1 gun, number 2 on the gun.
Maybe.
Stone, go.
All right.
Alrighty. So going along. Okay, so roll for our man Stapleton. 2d6 for his stealth. 2d6 plus 1. You're gonna just go at a normal pace, or you're gonna go super slow, or what?
Well, I think we want to be quiet. We don't. Is there the snow on the ground here? Or is it just all like grass and stuff?
It's rock and grass, yeah.
Right, right. Even the rocks, though, the screed and stuff like that's going to make noise. So we want to be as quiet as possible. And I'll back up Stapleton.
Well, there's a little bit of
to his.
sound from of the scree moving around from the animals anyway.
Okay,
So
right.
what
Well, we'd like.
as a soldier, you'll know what really carries is metallic sounds.
Sure.
Okay, so
Okay.
so like.
Well, at any rate, I think we want to be about
like,
as loud
you
as
hear
the
this sort of
sheep.
sound, like that kind of metallic sound never appears in nature.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna take Stapleton's, say, 8 o'clock, and we're gonna try to move in unison. I have observation too, so we'll try to remain quiet on that side. I don't know if somebody wants to take the other side, but that's up to y'all.
Yeah.
We'll creep up.
Okay, so as you're approaching, all right, now make another observation check. So 2d6 plus 1 for this for Stapleton.
Yeah, that was a 7.
7. Okay. But because you're taking so normally that would fail, but because you're taking extra time to move slowly and observe, that succeeds. Stapleton stops and he points out to you that on the roof of the thing. So normally these things would have like reed roofs and stuff, reeds from down, the river down, which will be like 3 or 4 kilometers down from here. But this must have a solid roof of some kind, whether it be concrete slabs or whatever. You can't tell in this light exactly what the building is made of, but it must have a solid roof of some kind because there's a tripod with a machine gun on it, obviously a machine gun. There's nobody there.
Scared, man.
You don't see anybody there, but you do see a tripod with a machine gun on it on top of the building.
This ain't the only thing we got.
So some of the locals will just be armed for their own personal protection, but something like the machine gun on top of the building is okay. This isn't just like a farmer's family.
No, most certainly not. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I want to bring everybody together, provided they're behind me and looking, and give them whatever signals necessary to slow down.
Yeah. You could just
so that they can see
point
this.
you could just point and they'll see it.
So I'm guessing we've seen him motion then.
Yeah. You see him
From
motion,
our
and
lookout?
there's a machine gun on top of the.
McPherson will lean over to Sumawara and say, "Hey, you want to just call the crew from the helicopter and ask them to check in every, say 15 minutes, just so we know they're all right."
We'll just touch base with them, but we'll arrange it that I just do a click on it so that I don't actually have to talk.
Yeah,
just
sure.
do a radio check and they're fine.
Okay.
Your voices will carry quite well across this still air. The the wind is coming towards you, so your voice won't carry as well. So the voices from the farmstead, if any, will carry to you better than vice versa. But if you're just whispering in that, nobody's going to hear whispers from 250 meters. I don't care how good your hearing is. If you're sort of speaking loudly, yeah, but no, but even then, with this wind, because it's quite a strong wind, it's like 30 or 40 kilometers an hour, and it's coming towards you, as I said. So even just a low voice like that won't be heard. If you start shouting,
it's howling and it's cold.
Yeah.
All right.
Brown,
So
you want to take this guy out?
So the tripod is not occupied, right?
It doesn't look like it. No. I mean, there might be someone lying down next to it, but why would they be lying down? But anyway. Yeah.
Okay. No, I want to get up under the lee of the house where the gun can't depress down on us. Because
Yep.
if we get
Sure.
caught out in the open, we're not going any further than this ridge line. Not with that Dishka up there.
And we saw nothing like that on the other side of the farmhouse, correct? I mean, we might not
Well, you
have been
haven't
close
been
enough.
so far. You're approaching from the right-hand side. So
Hey, listen, I'm gonna cut around the back and check the other side. All right.
Ooh, split the party. Split the party.
Stay in LOS.
Yeah, all I got to do is make it around the back here. Somebody stay at that corner. Once I make it to the other side at the corner, I won't go no farther. I'll peek the corner.
All right. Once you've done that, we're going to stack up and rush the house, or stack up and breach the house.
So, all right. So as you approach closer, to be clear, you're sort of you're looking at this. Imagine my phone here is the square of the house. On this corner here, it's the guy who is underneath the cover. Is the guy like a shade over the front porch kind of thing? Is the guy sitting there having a smoke?
Oh, okay. I
And,
thought he was in the middle.
No, he's there on the cover. Behind is a shed. You don't know what's in the shed, but there's a shed. You don't see any other people around. By this stage, it's about 06:15 because you've been talking and creeping quietly across. So there's a grey light ahead of you in the east, but obviously nothing like sunlight because you're in valleys, and it's still half an hour till official dawn. Yeah, so oh god, not bony freaking him. Yeah, wave of mutilation is seen touching the void as well. All right, so yeah, that's what you've got, and then the machine gun is up there on that corner as well. So it's like right above the head of that guy, basically. So yeah, so you approach. Once you're within about 50 meters, you see he's just sitting there having a smoke. You see a long diagonal object just to his left-hand side, and you think that's probably a long rifle.
And on the other corner of the building, was there a similar machine gun pointed in another direction? Like, is there one on each side of the building, or just the one side?
You still can't see very well because, like I said, you've now got the grey light of dawn coming up, so everything's like silhouetted. It's a little bit bright. You've got that howling wind that you kind of squint against, so you still can't see very well, but you don't think so. You're not 100%, but you don't think so.
Okay.
And like I said, then there's that shed out the back, so to your left. It's the back of the farmhouse, so it'll be to your left. There's a window on this side of the farmhouse as well, but it's shuttered. And there's a dim light coming from it. You think it's probably like a little hurricane lamp or something like that. The locals quite often will have little oil-based lamps because obviously there's no electricity out here.
Okay, assuming they haven't rushed, I'm going to come back and inform them, hey, there's a shed back there. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's kind of hard to see in the haze. I don't know what's in there. We should at least cover it. If not, check it out first. I don't think there's any dirt on the other side.
Okay, what about him? Is he armed?
The guy sitting there having a smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah, you believe he's armed. I mean, you believe that there's a rifle.
Okay.
Yeah, long rifle.
Again, you're looking at him from like 50 meters away in the pre-dawn light and everything. So it's either a long arm or something of a long object of a similar size. Unless he's an avid cricket player or something. No.
Stone, zero him. We go on your shot.
All right, I'm going to get back up that ridge a little bit. Get a nice clean headshot.
Take 3 rounds. Take 3 rounds of careful aim. Get as much bonus as you can because he's not going to go, what is doing that?
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I guess I'll climb back up the street a little bit and position myself with his head or
How
center
far
body
away do you
mass
want to
in
fire
crosshair.
How far? Because the closest big ridge was that one that was 320 meters away from the farmhouse. Apart from that, it's pretty much just loose scree and little patches of grass and the sheep and everything between there and the farmhouse. So how far away do you want to get? And you're currently 50 meters away, and he doesn't seem to have noticed the six of you wandering up tonight.
Can I go ahead and assume a prone position and take a shot?
Prop right where you are. Yep. Okay.
And
so
also one other thing: will I still see the shed out of my periphery?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're out of your peripheral vision, but once you're firing, you can't see what's happening. You know, unless
Sure.
or something, you can't see what's happening in that shed or whatever. Okay, so all right, so the range penalty is -3. However, you have bonuses. You are not under fire. That's +1. All right, what stones? He's got firearms expertise, so you got +3. Okay.
Okay.
So you're not under fire. So you have firearms expertise +3. You're not under fire yourself. That makes it to +4. Do you want to have a spotter assisting you? You want to have Stapleton looking through and going, you know? No, it's not 50 meters. It's 50.5 meters.
Absolutely. If that's hey Stapleton, you want to spot me?
Yep. All right.
Assuming you're good at that.
So that's +5.
We got to take this out nice and quietly.
The great thing about spotter is anyone can be a spotter. So it makes it +5. All right. You'll be aiming, so that makes it +8. Long arm supported, or you're prone, so it's supported. It makes it +9. And the visibility is equivalent to just the moonlight. So all the bonuses are +9. All the negatives are -2 for the moonlight and -3 for the range. So it's a net. So that's -5. So a net +4.
Alrighty.
So roll 2d6, add 4, and get 10 plus to hit him.
That's 9.
Okay, so you go bang, and somehow you miss him. All right, so now roll for surprise. Okay, so surprise is 1d6 plus your readiness plus the stealth of the scout. Okay, so your readiness is 1, and your scout is Stapleton, and he's got +1 readiness. So that +1 stealth. So that's a +2. Plus the terrain and everything. So that poor visibility that didn't help you does help you in this. It's easier to ambush someone when you're coming from darkness into their light, right? Because he's sitting there with just the cigarette to light him, and you're firing out of the dark from the west, from the dark side in a valley, right? So that's a +2. So you got a net +4. What did you roll? Roll d6.
9.
9. Okay.
Yeah. 1d6 is the same as 2d6.
Right. So you've got 7 actions of surprise.
Well, hopefully that will redeem us for the poor shot.
Yeah. Okay. You're gonna.
I blame the spotter.
Or what?
Yeah. I'll definitely take another shot provided I'm able.
Yes,
and that's
able, So this time it'll only be a +3 because you won't have. Sorry, a +1 because you won't have all those aiming actions, unless you want to use them, because you've got 7 actions.
Right, but those aiming actions mean
you can aim for an action, get +1. Aim for another action, get +2. Aim for a third action, get +3.
And that consumes time.
It takes time. Yeah. Aiming.
Yeah. No, I'm just going to take the shot.
Okay, take the shot. So it'll be +1. 2d6 +1.
Another 9.
9. Okay. Bang. Yep. And again, what are you doing there? So that's one round down. Okay. So you got 6 actions.
And a 7.
Did you take the dust cover off your sight there, Stone? Just wondering.
It's the fog, man, and the ice.
Did you put both?
Damn it.
Stone?
It'd be quicker just to run up and stab him.
Yeah, well, I took the 3 shots that Brown had recommended, so I feel like that's and I took them in quick succession, and I missed all 3 times.
Never mind.
Should we just six stew on them?
I mean, if nothing's happening and they're cool with me keep shooting at this guy.
These guys have got their surprise rounds. You guys are just watching the circle and everything. After the surprise round is over, then it'll be initiative, and then you guys can step in.
Okay, so I can just pop off on this guy.
Yeah, or you can run up and stab him.
Yeah, I could do that, but I'm shooting this guy. I've got expertise.
Well,
Come on, I need to do better.
Run up to stab him if you're still shooting. No.
I'm surprised Bennett ain't run up there. All right, come on, please. And this is at +1, right?
Yep.
Come on, God, a 7.
Oh, no. Oh, come on.
We see flickers
So this is
around this guy.
Come on, dude. You can do it.
this has been 3 actions, right? Because I had 7 actions, and I took 3 shots aside from the first one.
You had your initial one as well, so you've got
Okay,
5.
so that counted as an action.
Yeah, you've got 5 left.
I'm taking this guy out. He's freaking out. I'm freaking out. I'm just cold, man.
Yeah.
All right. 13.
13. All right.
Finally, it took a few.
Roll D6 and D6 for where you hit him.
I'm just thinking to myself, what was he walking his shots to him?
Yeah,
Needs more
I had to
time
get
on
him
the
in
range.
view. He had to poke his head around the corner. 8.
So it's the hit location is you read the 2 dice. So you read like 6 and 2 or 3 and 5 or whatever it is.
That was a 3 and 5.
The 3 and a 5. Okay, so that's a minor wound in his right arm. Well, he won't be shooting with that. He'd have to shoot with his offhand.
Yeah, as long as he's not left-handed. Yeah, I see the woundy matrix there. Should you typically choose a different dice color for each of those dice, or do you just take the low one first and then the higher one afterward?
A different dice color, or when I do it, I just read them left to right. So
yeah, next time I'll just do them one at a time.
Yeah. However you like. Okay, so you've got 4 rounds left. You've shot him in the arm, and you've got 4 rounds left.
Keep shooting.
Yeah, that's the only thing I got. Right, I'm gonna keep shooting. That's a 12.
Boom! You hit him. Yep. Roll for the location.
All right, so the first D6 is a 2. The second D6 is a 6.
A 6. So a minor wound in the trunk.
All right, well at least that's the trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take another shot. My luck's running out here.
You
Now,
obviously just have a 0 rifle.
yeah, I think that's probably the case. That's a miss.
Okay. All right.
And there's
now
one
you've got
more
2
or
rounds.
2 more?
You've got 2 surprise rounds left.
All right, that's a miss. And the last one, come on, also a miss. So I got 2 hits. I busted off a bunch of rounds real quick.
Right. So you fired at him 8 times, and he got 2 hits. Vaughan says 7 actions to surprise. How much time are we talking about? So people get different numbers of actions in a combat round. Combat round's normally 1 minute, but they get different numbers of actions. So your readiness is between 0 and 3. That's how many actions you get in a round. However, if you get surprise, then the difference between your rolls is how many actions you get in that round. Sometimes the enemy is just so overwhelmed, so surprised that you could just let rip. As in this case, just let rip and hit him twice.
Right.
But both were minor wounds, so they won't take him out. Alrighty. Someone needs more range time, says Samawata, muttering to herself. And the person's expressed the test after this stone.
Yeah, it's like minus 100 degrees, man. This ain't Louisiana.
It's about to get exceptionally
hands
hot.
Are shivering. Hands are shivering on the range. All right. What's everyone else going to do now that the shots have rung out, and you hear some cries from within the building?
Some Durka Durka. I am looking at the rest of the team. Let's go. And up and over the ridge.
Yep.
We'll follow suit.
Oh, were you all the way back at the ridge 320 meters away? I'd assumed that you're sort of following close behind these guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, whatever he was propped up on when I say ridge, he had taken a position down.
Yeah.
So,
you were next to it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so you'll run in.
Yeah, we're charging in and sticking together. Nobody's. I'm gonna run.
Like move, shot, shoot, dodge, shoot, duck, etc. All done in 1 minute. Yes, you can do all that in 1 minute, Vaughn, if you have achieved surprise. Because basically, you think of how long a person can traverse in 1 minute. Even if you're just walking at 6 kilometers an hour, in 1 minute you cover 100 meters. You think, and a rifle with 30 rounds in it, you can easily blow through 30 rounds in a minute of firing. You can blow, if it's semi-automatic or automatic, you can blow through that many rounds in 10 to 20 seconds. So, you think of how long it takes you to do a bunch of burpees or whatever, which is essentially what is going to ground, standing up, going to ground, standing up, and everything. So, yes, you can do 7 actions all in 1 minute, as long as nobody is shooting at you. Once people start shooting at you, that's when things slow down. So there's a classic experience in the army where you do fire and movement drills. So one part of the section drops and starts firing, the other part moves forward, drops, starts firing, and so on. They alternate like that. Now, if people do that just practicing the movements as a section, you find that their bounds, how far they go forward each time, is like 15 to 20 meters. Now you give them blanks, and the guys who are firing blanks. The bounds drop from 15 to 20 meters to around 10 meters. Now you go to the live firing range, where you're actually firing towards some bunker or whatever as you go towards it. The bounds now drop to under 5 meters. You don't really want to rush ahead in case you run in front of your mate's machine gun or something. It's considered unprofessional to get killed in training. So the bounds drop a lot, and when it's a two-way rifle range, the bounds drop to like 2 to 4 meters or something like that. Or so I am told. That's how the rumor goes. So when you have surprise, it's just like being on the range. The enemy's like, and not doing anything, and you can go. As soon as they collect themselves and start firing back, All right, so is the whole team rushing in at once, or are you doing fire and movement, or what? What do you say, Ration?
What is Stu doing is my question. I have to watch him.
Stu is fixing bayonets.
Oh boy, here we go.
I really don't want somebody to get up there and do that, get on that Dushka before we can get under the lee of the building. We are charging in.
Yep, so you all go in together. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if my surprise round overtook my initiative or whatever, but my plan is to stay prone and cover. I'd rather not get up. I'll cover surprise that machine gun.
First, and then there's initiative
right.
Until something different something changes. Okay. Initiative is just a D6 plus readiness. Okay, so most of you got readiness 2 by now, so yeah. So D6 plus 2. Woohoo.
All right. Oh boy. When the GM says woohoo, it ain't good for anybody. Let me see. Does anybody have better than readiness 2? Any of our team?
No.
Okay. Just checking. I didn't want to step on anybody's die rolling, but here we go.
Readiness 3 is like the ninja stuff.
Okay. So that's a total of 4. A total of 4.
Okay. They got a total of 7.
Okay.
So the guy who you shot is he reaches down and he grabs his rifle, but he doesn't try to pick it up. He grabs it by the barrel and he drags it along. He's obviously running inside the building, and you hear lots of shouts and stuff shouts and movement from inside the building. They're obviously just organizing themselves. They were either not awake yet or just getting up for their morning ablutions or whatever. So they're just organizing themselves. They're not shooting at you, in other words. Okay, so you guys just go running up. Boom, 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 boom. It's going to take you 2 rounds. At least 2 actions to run up. So normal running speed is about 4. You can double that to do a charge, so that's 8. If you do 2 actions, that's 16. Does anyone have 1 readiness though? Yeah, Bennett and McPherson.
I think
Stone
I do. Yeah.
I've got 1 readiness. So you'll only run like 8 meters. And then Sumawara, Brown, and Stapleton will be able to run 16 meters in 1 action, 32 meters in 2. So half the team has gone 32 meters up, and the other half of the team has gone 16 meters up by the end of the round. Okay, second combat round, D6 again.
7 total.
Okay, you go first. All right,
Um,
so the first 3 of you can use 1 of your action to go another 16 meters and reach the building, basically. You will have reached the outskirts of the building, because 32 meters plus 16, 48. So you basically come within 2 meters of the building, so that's underneath the edge. There won't be any way for anyone to depress the weapon towards you. They'd have to physically lift it up and put it over. They could drop hand grenades and stuff on you, but still. Yeah, so you've basically reached the building. The others will still be coming. They'll come another 16 meters in their second round if they're still running up.
Okay.
Okay. The guys inside, they're still organizing themselves. The guys inside, you hear a lot of durka going on.
So the guy that went in the door, is that door it's around the corner? How far is that door from the corner of the wall that we are on?
It's on the opposite side. Okay, so you've basically got the building here. There's where that guy was sitting, and he went onto the opposite side. So it's the front of the building, but the opposite.
Okay. All right, so I can't see if it's open or closed. I was thinking.
Well, there's a little bit of light coming out, so you see that it's open.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
well,
that guy just ran inside. Somebody fired a bunch of shots at him. As far as he's concerned, he was just sitting there having a quiet smoke in the middle of the night, the door, waiting for the sun to come up, and then somebody opened up on him and shot him twice. He just dragged his rifle in and ran inside and didn't bother closing the door behind him.
Okay, I'm waiting for the rest of the team to
and presumably ran inside and waved his good arm around and started shouting, "Wake up, guys! There's a
Durka. I'll wait for the rest of the team to form up, and then I'm going to move around to that side of the building.
Okay, so you wait for the other 3 to catch up.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be so we'll get to the beginning of the fourth round. Fourth round initiative.
Hey, roll it for us. You're sitting over there all quiet because you got readiness too, don't you? Don't you, Safi?
I do.
Roll it for us. D6.
D6.
Plus 2.
Plus 2. There we go.
Nice.
Ooh.
She was due. She was due.
I can't see it. Okay.
It's an 8 total.
Good, good. You guys go first.
All right. I am moving around to that door, and I'm going to use one of those 2 flashbangs I brought with.
Okay. In the words of every DM since the start of the hobby, what's your marching order?
Since I'm going to flash the door, I'm going first.
Okay, so the normal procedure will be that like one guy throws in the flash, and then the guy immediately behind him follows the instant that the flash goes.
Yep.
So that works also well with the game system in that you use an action to throw, and then the other guy uses his action to go in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I suppose that's got to be me.
You guys are free to do whatever you want, but that's most common procedure.
All right, so I'll flash, and Stone's following the flashbang in.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Make your throw. You're just throwing generally into the room, so this is just to see that you don't get a stoppage.
4.
4.
Bing.
Okay. Yeah. It's just
bounces
okay.
off the wall and lands in my mouth. Ah.
Because, yeah, and 4. Okay, so it will miss. It will miss your target, but logically you would have thrown long. Okay.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to get it through.
You don't just like throw it just in the doorway. I'll just roll it across the the doorstop.
Right.
Logically, you would have thrown it long, so even if it misses a bit, okay, it bounces off a wall or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
That's
so. Roll a d6 for the direction of which way it goes wrong.
5.
5. Ooh, so it hits the following wall and then it bounces back. It bounces around. Yep, and then roll for the meters that it goes off.
Also D6.
Yeah.
1 meter.
1 meter. Okay, so it goes off, but it basically bounces off the back wall and then goes off, so it's all right. Bang! All right. So a flashbang, for those in the audience who don't know, is an explosive that produces a brief sound of about 180 decibels, and I believe something like 12 million candela of brightness. So everyone's blinded and deafened in the room. In game terms, it just causes a blunt injury to everyone. So roll for the effect.
Am I rolling or are you rolling, Kyle?
I'm rolling because you don't know how many guys there are in the room.
Fair enough. The old, how many hit dice does this thing have, Dungeon Master? Moment. I'm not telling.
Okay. So, all right. So, Stone.
The ultimate Dungeon Master screen.
Stone, you go into the room. All right. Now you see there's you see like there's a bit of smoke around and that. There's everyone around. Everyone has fallen over. But you don't know who's fallen over because they're unconscious and who's fallen over because they're just taking cover. But there are several people in this room. There's not 20, but there's not just one. There's several people in this room. It would take an action for you to count them and assess them. They are moving around, so the flashbangs haven't killed them. but there's a couple that have still got their hands on their rifles.
Right. Do they appear disoriented at first glance? Like they're moving around like...
Everyone's at least
You know.
a little bit disoriented. You basically can't avoid that.
All right, well, I'm taking a shot at the first guy that I see who's standing, who has a rifle.
None of them are standing. But a couple of them still have their hands on their rifles. But yeah, shoot one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll shoot one.
Within 6 meters this time, so that's a DM of +0. You have weapon expertise, so that's +3. You don't have great visibility because it's just a kerosene lamp in here, so that's a -1. So make it a +2.
Alrighty, no problem. Yeah, so that's going to be a 10.
10. Awesome. So you hit someone. D6, D6.
First D6 would be a 6, which might be good. And second D6 would be a 3.
The 3. Okay, so you get a minor wound in his left leg.
Ones and twos.
The ones and twos,
Got
that's the
head
deal.
front, yeah. Okay. Right, so Stone has gone through. Round number 5. What's everyone else going to do?
I am entering behind Stone.
Yep.
I guess
You don't have to enter like one every combat round.
Okay.
we send Stu in next.
Bennett. All right.
And
then I'll
guess
come
I'll-
in after.
Okay.
I'll take the rear.
Three is probably a reasonable number to go through a little doorway into an enclosed space in this round. Yep. All right. So roll for initiative.
Cue the Mike Post A-team sound as we all burst into the room.
Whose face?
McPherson.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Some more water in
We
her
know who the
explosives.
crazy one is.
Yeah. Well, there's Mr. T crazy, and then there's Howling Mad Murdoch crazy. They're different.
Well, you've got a Mr. T,
Yeah.
Yeah.
except he's not afraid of flying.
Mm.
Oh, I need to build that into my backstory.
Well, you gotta get a catchphrase, Stone.
No, I was thinking of Bennett as Mr. T, actually, the crazy violent one.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. But
Remember that
but
with
he's
Mr. T? Like, every time
psychotic.
he was afraid of flying, so every time they had to fly somewhere, they had to knock him out. Take him there.
Yeah.
Like, why he stayed in the team when they kept making him unconscious, I don't know. But okay, what was your initiative?
Oh. Hang on. 4 this time.
Okay, yep, you go first.
Okay. Do I see one on the floor reaching for a weapon?
Yeah. So there's 2 holding onto weapons,
All right.
and there's another 4 who are lying around, not touching their weapons currently.
Fellow touching his weapon. Let's see, with handgun, which I have. I have a familiarity.
Yeah, +1.
All right, so that's going to be
So it's -1, so it'll be a net 0.
yeah. So a total of 7.
All right,
Miss.
so you miss. Boom, boom. Okay, he's right next to another guy, so you get to do a second roll to hit on the guy that he's next to.
Come on.
I got a stoppage.
Ah.
Click.
All right, so you'll have to spend an action clearing the stoppage.
Okay.
Popping a fresh mag in. Okay, next round. Sorry, who else is in there? There's Bennett, and but I'll roll him last. Who else is there?
The Stone's
Should be
there.
as well.
Okay, yeah. Whoever's in there, shoot if you want to.
I'm going to shoot that same guy who I had already shot. And I think that was a net +1. because of expertise.
That's right.
I got a 5. That's a miss.
Right. Yep. Okay. Some water.
Yes. I don't know what my bonuses are, but
Roll 2d6. If you roll a 3,
And
it
just
don't.
take them out.
I start humming
Hey,
Sweet
a
Caroline
5.
in the background.
Samada has no particular skill, so it's just +0. Poor visibility is -1, so it makes it to be a net -1.
Hey, Bill needs to be letting the green room Bilty.
Oh, I noticed he got bumped off.
I just
Oh.
happened to
So-
notice.
Thank you.
I rolled a 5 minus 1 is 4.
Poor. Oh, okay. Just missed the stoppage. Okay. But because you're firing in a close thing where the guys are all together, you might hit somebody else. So do a second 2-hit roll.
Okay.
It's equivalent to when you're trying to shoot the hostage taker and you're holding a gun to the head of the hostage.
8 minus 1 is 7.
7. That's a miss as well. As long as you don't shoot the hostage deliberately, like Keanu Reeves advised, shoot the hostage, take him out of the equation. But yeah. All right. So Bennett goes up and he kicks a dude. Oh, that will hurt.
We're all taking shots, and it kicks a guy to death.
Stomps his throat.
Yeah, that's a mortal wound in the trunk.
Oh,
Yeah. I was ready to negotiate.
Boots come in handy.
He stomps 220 pounds of Bennett stomps on their chest.
Yeah.
And with his second action, he does it again. And a second mortal wound. He kicks this guy to death.
He wasn't a serial killer in a past life, was he?
he literally just killed 2 people with his feet. 4.
No, it was the same guy. He kept kicking the same guy.
Okay. Okay. Still, 4 armed people, 3 long arms and 1 pistol in this room, and nobody's dead. This guy walks in and puts the heel of his Timberland through a dude's chest. One tango down. I can't even.
Close combat, man.
I'm buying the same boots or checking them out.
The best brawler in IHOP is here, apparently.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Now, one of the guys on the ground is still conscious and able, and he has his rifle. I'm going to do a little morale check for him. And he's a maniac, apparently. He wants to fight on. So he just does an auto spray. In the
Shit.
middle. Who's the middle of you guys? Who would be in the middle? Who came in second or third?
That would probably be
Stu.
me.
Yeah. Rashawn
Okay.
Rashawn came in second.
Okay. All right. I rolled 4 plus 5, and he doesn't have a familiarity, and it is poor visibility, so he won't hit you. However, he
thank
gets a
God.
2-hit roll on the people either side of you. So who was first?
I was.
That will also miss. Who was third?
Stu, I believe.
Stu was
I
third.
think Bennett was, and then I'm
And he
fourth.
misses him as well. So his rounds just go into the ceiling.
Tack, 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 tack.
Alrighty, so there's lots of dust being kicked up and lots of thunk as rounds hit the mortar.
He's
This
just getting
thing's
started
being
on the
built up.
popcorn ceiling removal. That's all.
This thing's been built of some kind of brick, and it's got a grey-white render that's been plastered over it. It's probably made of like dung and straw or something.
What's brown
And,
inside the belt? Dung.
There is indeed a solid ceiling above you.
Oh my God, man.
Towards the back, there's another doorway. This room obviously does not occupy the entire farmhouse that you're in. It's maybe a third of it. But yeah, towards the back right, there's another doorway. Okay. round number 7, I think we're up to.
I'm slapping in a fresh mag.
Yep.
Clack. Practicing
Yeah,
the tutorial art of ching ching.
Yep.
I'm
that's
taking
one
out the
action.
active shooter.
Your second action, you'll be able to fire.
All right.
Remember that, guys. If you've got 2 readiness, you've got 2 actions.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Okay, so-
brawling is that what he used for his skill for kicking?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna take a note out of his book and start to stomp too.
The hell with reloading. I'm just going to stand in the corner going,
Is
Well, you're
Sumarwada
gonna
220 pounds?
Hit them with the butt of your rifle. Boom. Alrighty. Initiative. That's all right. You guys go first. I rolled 1.
Just a word to the wise, Stone. Never ask a woman her weight, especially when she's got a gun and explosives.
That's probably true.
I pasted a dude. I got a 10. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Daka 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 Daka. Blam!
What'd you get him with?
I shot him in the leg and a 6. A 6 in the leg.
Oh, okay. Minor wound.
Okay. I was aiming for his kneecap. That usually gets people's attention. Not a kneecap.
Alrighty.
Hmm.
Okay. So, let's say, yep. Everyone else have a go. There should only be
All right, I'm
2 guys. There's 4 guys who are alive. Not apparently dead or whatever. They're alive, but they're not shooting. There's only 1 guy who's active and shooting at you.
right, and that's not the guy that I've hit twice already or whatever, right?
No.
Yeah. I'm taking him out center body mass, hopefully.
Yep. Make a roll. Still got +1.
Oh
Click.
no!
Snake eyes.
Stone, not again.
All right, you get a
Stone.
stoppage. You get a
Click.
stoppage. You go click. All right, so you'll be clearing your stoppage next.
We should have brought
All right.
shotguns for this job.
Yeah, no, yeah.
To quote the
Alright.
man,
Stoppy time.
we should have brought
Silverwater.
shotguns.
Do your kicking.
Do I get a bonus on that because I have brawling?
Yeah. Which have you got? The familiarity or the
Is it under
Brawling
expertise or
sweep.
familiarities?
brawling sweep? That's,
Familiarity.
you're good at knocking them off their feet, sweeping them off their feet. But he's on the ground already, so
Oh, I'll just.
you don't
aim
get
a
any bonus to actually hurt him.
well-placed kick anyway.
So you get a plus
Yeah, you
1
can
to
kick.
hit.
That's a 0. That's a 0. So you just get a +0 to hit. Everyone
Okay.
can kick someone.
Okay.
Oh,
Damn.
Oh,
Damn. She's kicked him behind the ear.
What you get? 12 of them.
I don't know. Might be someplace else that's more damaging. Let's see.
Okay, roll d6.
First 6 is a 1,
Oh.
Yep,
and the second 6 is a 5.
a 5. Yeah, so a minor wound in the head. You kick him in the nose and you break his nose.
ooh.
And I
Okay,
have
are
a
you going to have a
second
second go
action.
at him?
Yes.
Another 12.
This is another 12. I am looking at these dice.
Nice.
I'm witnessing these.
It's a 4
Yeah.
It's going to.
and a 4.
4 and a 4. Okay, a minor wound on his left arm. So after you kick him in the face, he puts up his arm to stop you doing it again, and you sprain his wrist instead.
Way to go. Way to go, Safi.
Alrighty. Okay, so the guys in this room are all incapacitated.
Can I take an action outside?
Yeah. Okay. You hear some shouting outside.
Okay. I'd like to take my action to observe what is doing the shouting.
Okay. What? So you're just gonna like poke your head out of the room, kind of thing, or you're outside?
I haven't even gotten in yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the shouting is from the roof above you. There's two guys above you.
I'm gonna take a hand grenade, pull the pin, and like
Okay.
see where that goes.
All right. So what are you aiming at directly at
I
the?
hate you to
tripod?
death, Bill.
Directly. At the
Oh,
tripod? Or what?
I'm aiming for the hand grenade to land on the roof.
Yes.
Well, we haven't rolled initiative yet, so don't be rolling.
Like I said, it seems to be a solid roof. It's not like a reed rush roof or something like that. So you don't have to worry about it going into your mates below.
Okay, good. Yes, I totally had thought about that before I made my action and stated it. I definitely did.
Okay. But yeah, where exactly are you going to be aiming at? At the tripod?
Yeah, where approximately where the machine gun would be.
Yeah. Okay.
Just do D6 then.
Yeah. When it's time for the action.
Oh,
All right.
right, okay.
Initiative.
Let's see. I gotcha. I got a 5.
All right, you guys go first.
Okay. So these guys are subdued at this point. Would you say they're suppressed?
Yeah.
Zip
Yeah,
ties.
they're either unconscious or they're going, my phobia. Somebody kicked me in the nose.
Yeah.
So they're not fighting.
Yeah. So I'm yelling to the rest of the team. Zip ties.
Got it.
And Bennett says, but what about, and draws his finger across his throat.
You should have shaved before we left, Bennett. Zip ties.
Yeah, man, there's plenty of time to take them out later.
Yeah, we need info first.
Okay, so zip tie them up. One is going to die because he got like mortal wounds in his chest. he's got flail chest or something.
Yeah. That. Obviously, don't waste any zip ties on him.
All right. Yep. So you guys are busy doing that. Like I said, there's a doorway out the back, but nobody comes through it in that room. Into that room, you just hear the noise up the back, and then outside you hear this ping. Okay, make your roll, BLT.
All right, just straight
You
2d6.
fire in the hole first.
What's that? I'm a
Grenade.
medic. They just gave me a hand grenade. A 5.
If he were a cleric, it'd be a holy
Okay,
hand
so that'll
grenade.
miss exactly what you're hitting at, but sometimes you can, miss what you're hitting at and still hit. So
Witness
roll for
flash.
direction of where it goes to.
That's a 5.
1d6
He
for direction and 1d6 for the distance.
Okay, so I got a 5 for the first one, and then a 2 for the other one.
All right, so it goes far to the left. So it arcs over the tripod and onto the other side of the building and explodes harmlessly over there.
Kyle, is there a ladder?
There's this boom and this dust comes at you. 1 or 2 little bits of gravel come at you, but that's it.
Is there a ladder up out of this? I'm guessing this is just a single open space.
A single open space.
The house, the inside of the house.
No, it's not. As I said, the room that you're in, there's a door at the back. There's another room beyond.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. When you said door
When
out
you
the
go and
back,
have a look, yeah, you see there's another room beyond, and the back door has been opened.
okay,
And you
I
look
misunderstood
further,
you.
You look further, and there's a ladder leaning against the wall that leans up the top. So obviously, the two guys that are now up the top were either up the top and just sleeping or something, or they were down below. And when all this noise and shooting started, they ran up to the top and to man the gun and that.
All right. I don't know where McPherson is. I can see the rest of the team. McPherson, sit rep.
There's two guys on the roof, and I found out I needed more time at the range with the grenades.
Shit. All right. Let me see. Sumawater, place a charge on the bottom of that trapdoor by the ladder. The rest of you three, let's drag these punks outside, away from the gun.
Well, Sumawater, you know, with the charge you've got, so basically there's high explosives and low explosives. So low explosives are things that as the chemical reaction propagates through the material, it goes slowly, relatively slowly, less than the speed of sound. They're used in things like gunpowder. It's channeled and therefore propels the bullet out. High explosives are things that have more of a sort of a crack because the chemical reaction propagates faster than the speed of sound. So they're used in things like door charges to like blow open a door or a safe door or something like that. So you have a bit of low explosives so that you can just blow stuff up generally. You got some high explosives to do shaped charge. You could put it on so you've got explosives that you could use just to put a trap on the trap door, so it become literally a trap door, except it doesn't have a trap door. You can put it on the top of the ladder, so if they come down the ladder, they trip it. Or you could just put it underneath where the tripod is. Because if you go to the back corner or the side corner of this room where you just had this carnage, you just put a charge underneath, and anyone who's right above it, the best they can hope for is that the floor falls out from underneath them. And the worst that'll happen is that they'll be blown to pieces. Depends how much charge you put on.
Sumawata,
like,
I would very much like it if you would initiate the Tajikistan space program right over there
All right.
and put
Let's
those
light
machine
this
gunners
place up.
in orbit.
Their first funding
Okay.
grant is $40 worth of C4.
Yeah.
Okay, Sumawata, so you do the roll for the setup, and then the roll for the damage will be later. So
Okay.
do the roll for the setup.
It's 2d6.
You've had a hot hand, so I have confidence in you.
And-
Do you have expertise or skill at it?
She's just got the familiarity.
Okay. Familiarity.
That's a
9?
eight. Oh, 9.
Yeah, you
Nine.
had your
That's pretty good.
Oh.
The thing that I really wanted to know was, did it occur to you to tell them you should probably clear these prisoners out of the room before I detonate this?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was already telling the guys
Yeah,
we're
I
drinking
see. I'm lighting
prisoners
this up,
out.
so we got to get everybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is directional. It's meant to go up, but
Yeah.
still, the guys who are in a confined space with the explosion, they wouldn't be too well off.
Yeah, this is a
Okay.
very big flashbang.
Yeah. Alrighty. So it goes kaboom. Now,
Or does it go Kabul?
Kablooey.
Oh well, she's set it off pretty well. Okay. Wounding effects. Explosives. Okay, so this will count as a. It depends how big you want to make it. Category 2 is like
Oh.
claymores, anti-personnel mines, or category 3 is like mortar bombs. How big do you want to make it?
Oh, we're going big. Go big or go
Like a
home.
mortar bomb. Okay, so that will do 3 wounding attacks against all within 25 meters. And then it does an extra wounding attack on anyone who's like right on top of it, basically. So yeah, you'll blow them into pink mist if you do this.
That's okay.
But, there's
Got
always
some
a chance
hostages.
if you roll right for the injuries. Okay.
Certain calmness comes over me with the idea of those guys being turned into pink mist.
A certain
but,
calmness goes over me with the idea of me being turned into pink mist.
Well,
25
so
meters? Isn't that the whole house?
Yeah, that's
more
like
than the
80
entire
feet.
house.
It's remote
That's more than the
detonation
entire
here.
house. You'll have to like drag the guys away, the PWs behind the building.
that's what we will do.
The back wall
We
will
drag
actually
them as
come
far
up.
as we can, right?
Yeah.
The back wall will actually come up.
As
Okay.
many as we can.
Alrighty. Boom! And they take 4 wounding rolls. So make 4 wounding rolls against the first one, who was manning the machine gun.
Okay, so that's a single D6 or 2.
D6, yeah.
Big orange fireball with black smoke.
A 1
That's a head.
1, that's the
and
head.
a 1.
That's a mortal wound in the head, and his second wound.
Another 1
That's another head wound.
Yeah, and a second.
and a
That's
2.
another head wound.
And 2. Another mortal head wound. Okay, and then just for the giggles, roll for the other 2 wounds as well.
Okay. 2 2s.
Yeah.
2. A mortal wound on the trunk. Yep.
A
Last
5
one.
and a 5.
A 5 and 5, and a minor wound on his right leg. Okay, so basically his head and his trunk are separated from his legs and go flying off into space. He's essentially turned to pink mist, and his mate, who's immediately behind him, he takes 4 wounds as well.
Okay.
I want to roll 8 6s in a row. Ow! That really stung.
A 2 and a 3.
3, yeah. A mortal wound on his trunk, yeah.
A 1 and a 5.
Yeah, that's a minor wound on his head.
A 2 and a 3.
There's 3, and it's a mortal wound on his trunk.
And then the last one, a 1 and a 4.
No, 4. And a severe wound on his head. Yeah, so they're both like blown to bits, these poor bastards. Now, behind,
just their legs left
behind the
behind?
back wall of this building, it protects you from the fragmentation effects. However, you're still within 25 meters of this explosion. So you all take a blunt wounding effect on your trunk.
Okay.
Okay. It'll just be a single blunt wound, and because it's just blunt, it won't be fatal, but it might still knock you out. Okay.
Okay.
So each of you roll a 1d6 to see if it's mortal or severe or minor. Mortal just means a severe wound, but it knocks you out.
I'm guessing.
This is where I'll roll the worst I can.
Hold up, Kyle. I did say we were going with trauma plates. Will that have any effect at all?
Yes, it will. It will,
Okay.
actually. And you've got helmets too.
Okay. So I got a 1, so it's probably really good that I just said I have trauma plate. So
Yeah, it's a there's fragmentation. Yeah, but all explosives do 1 blunt wounding attack against everyone's head within their radius to simulate the concussive effects of blast. These ignore armor.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so there's a boom. What did you get? Sorry,
I got a 1.
1. Yeah, so you get knocked out.
Yeah.
I rolled a 3.
3. Yep. So you get knocked out as well.
I'm assuming
So 1 to
McPherson
3
is
you
in
get
the
knocked
radius.
out. On a 4 you're still conscious, but you're not feeling good. And on a 5 or 6 is just a minor wound. You're just going. Ugh.
I'm assuming McPherson's in the radius too.
Yep, you're all in the radius.
All right.
We're all together.
Got a 2.
Bad day at Black Rock.
Oh, how do I? I don't want to do that.
I guess I'll roll mine. Come on. Hey!
You get to wake the rest of us up.
I'm gonna roll for Maniac and for.
Yep, I roll for Bennett. He's out.
Oh, good.
And Stapleton.
Yeah, let me stomp his chest.
Yeah, roll for Stapleton.
Yep, Stapleton's still conscious.
Okay.
Oh!
So there's this big boom, and
The whole team's
the
out.
Fury guys are blown to bits. Little
All right,
bits
well, I was closer.
rain down around you, and you guys are like all concussed and you're all
Yeah, so the
concussed.
guys that we brought out, they were basically defenseless, and they're all toast.
For the most part. I mean, a couple of them will be surviving, and you'll be able to question them and stuff.
Okay.
Okay, well, I was closest to Brown, so I'm going to drag him a little farther away from the blast radius, and slap him around, try to wake him up a little bit. You know, whatever the proper protocol is for dealing with this concussion.
Divided by 340 is what, 50. So 15 seconds later, plus a few more seconds, the helicopter guys get on the radio and say to you, "We heard this huge explosion. Are you guys all right?"
Yeah, just a little over enthusiastic with the plastique. Oh God, I'm guessing just like a fucking fountain on my face there.
Yeah, there's blood coming out of your ears and nose.
All right. What happened to the shed that was behind the
You
house?
guys can all do your normal stuff at -2 for the moment. But yeah, you'll definitely need the week off, a week or two off to recover after this.
That's fine. I think we're going to get it. Yeah. What happened to the house behind the shed behind the house?
The shed behind is quite intact. It was more than 25 meters away. So you go and investigate that, and it's full of it's got military type wooden boxes from the Russian Federation, and they're full of surface-to-air missiles.
Okay.
Shoulder-launched surface-to-air missiles.
Nice.
So Simulator can easily rig it up with deck cord and blow it up in place at more than 25 meters away.
Yeah, more than 25 meters away.
Bring one with us. Bring one with us.
Absolutely.
Evidence. Everybody, if anybody still has a functional phone, phones out, pictures of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use
McPherson's wandering around going, mop, mop, mop.
A grease board and a crayon. Missiles. Get some in the halo.
All right. So the chopper comes flopping out and picks you up about 20 minutes later. And there'll be a couple of guys still alive who you can take with you in question if you want.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We're going to do that.
Alrighty, and we'll leave the rest till next week.
All right. Well, I would give us all a B. Well played, everyone. B for boom.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied, Sappy? Did that make you happy?
I got to blow some stuff up. I got to kick people. It's fun.
She literally turned people into pink mist. And I would just, I'd like to thank my audience, whether you're watching us on YouTube or over on Twitter. We got Bill 7 more subscribers tonight. 6 or 7.
Thanks,
We're up to
everybody. I appreciate
87, bro. So we appreciate that. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate Kyle. Kyle, thank you for running a wonderful game this evening. Thank you.
It's been asked how healing works. You'll find out in the next session.
It was a lot of fun. I'm Nerd's Nerd. I'm so sorry you missed it. You can watch us on the replay, and we'll have a shootout on graph paper. It's a lot of fun. You should definitely check these out. You get one every week, guys. Kyle runs this awesome game called Conflict. If you scroll back up through the chats, you can find the link to get yourself a copy of Conflict. It is the adventure game of modern warfare. I don't know if anyone will be able to see it in my tiny thumbnail, But yes, you should grab yourself a copy of Conflict. It's awesome, as are all my players. So big props to Doomsword, to Viking Hat, to Bill T, and to Kennick for being here tonight. Let me just show that up real quick. You can get this on Lulu, and it is a kick-ass lightweight RPG, by which I mean role-playing game, but there are RPGs for the RPG. It's RPGception, but it's coming. And speaking of things that are coming, tomorrow night, I will be back, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back, and guess what? Class is in session. We are going to talk about earning experience points in first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons and leveling your character. And one thing, a little spoiler, first edition AD&D is, to my knowledge, the only version of Dungeons and Dragons that rewards good role play. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. Friday night, if you've been with us through October, you don't want to miss Friday night, because Friday night is the end of Shocktober, Call of Cthulhu. That's right. Episode 4 of Shocktober, Call of Cthulhu, The King in Yellow. Friday night at 9 o'clock till midnight. Don't miss it. And next week, of course, next Friday, we return to Gamma World for all kinds of mutated fun. But until then, everybody, thank you again to my players. You are all awesome. I greatly appreciate it. And with that said, I think we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Folks, please remember, accept no substitutes, accept no imitations, no fakers. There is only one Dungeon Delver. So you guys have a lovely evening. Peace. I'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Have you
Bye-bye.
seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.